5-year-old boy, little Rayan, who died trapped in a well despite a number of day-long rescue operation that gripped the world. This afternoon, we talk about the aftermath and reflect on what had transpired. We're joined by Dr. Mohamed Chtatou, who is a political analyst and freelance journalist from Morocco Radio. Dr. Mohamed, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brother.
Shukran for joining us. Give us a short summary of how Marhum Rayan had ended up in the well.
Well, first of all, this well was dug a long time ago and they didn't find any water. So I think it was left and it was covered by a plastic sheet, which was a big mistake. And the boy on last Tuesday, he was playing and he didn't see the hole and then just fell into this 32-meter deep hole. And his family were looking for him the whole afternoon when finally they realized that he might have fell into that hole. So they went and they heard him. He was asking them to help him. So this is how it happened.
Yes. It's really, a very freak accident that occurred. Tell us about the procedure that was adopted to get him freed. What was the method that was used?
Well, first of all, they tried to bring young people and to help them go down the well right at the beginning. This was right at the beginning. But they realized the diameter of the hole is very thin, very small. So these people fainted and couldn't go all the way down. So once they have tried this several times, they gave up and they started digging up on the side another hole to try to go all the way down and reach the kid. But the friability of the terrain was a big problem, because then they realized that this might lead to the hole to be broken and to entomb the young kid. So they tried different approach whereby they went to the bottom of the hill and they started digging. First of all, digging vertically, and it took them 2 days, and then horizontally. But while they were digging horizontally, they encountered huge rocks. So they had to go through the rocks, and this work was 24 hours. I mean, there were engineers, there were diggers, there were responsibles, there were functionaries of the state, and there were hundreds of people trying to help. And they brought also many experts on well digging to give them ideas about how to reach the boy, and extract him without having him being entombed in this hole. So I think the rescuers did a wonderful job. And they worked without stop, and they were taking turns in the work in a very difficult terrain, in a very difficult mountainous area, and where it was anything could happen any moment. And when finally on the 5th day they reached him, they had to bring pipes, to place pipes so they can reach him without having him hurt by the rocks or by the ground. When they reached him, obviously, and they extracted him out, they realized that he was already dead because of injuries he had contracted during the fall on his head and on his spine and on his neck. This thing gripped the whole nation. And there were thousands of people around, and thousands and millions of people following on a daily basis on the social networks or on television, and it showed a great responsibility, Islamic responsibility, and Islamic solidarity. And this solidarity, as you know, was not confined to Morocco, but to the whole Islamic and Arab world, and to the whole world, because there were people all over the world asking about the young boy, and the whole people were hoping that he will come out safe.
Yes. There was great optimism, and the solidarity that you speak about was really felt across the globe. Eventually, when he was freed, and it was realized that he had passed on, what had happened after that? What were the sequence of events post that?
Well, when he was freed, he was taken into a mobile hospital, and doctors were trying to bring him back, but they realized that he was clinically dead, from the injuries. And that's when it was declared officially, he was declared dead. And there were hundreds of people crying in the nearby and all over the world. It was the main networks were present there, hoping that he will live, hoping that he will come back. But unfortunately, this is mashallah, and he died.
Yes, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. As you spoke about the fact that the world was watching on from this, how does it feel seeing all the support from around the globe? Does it remind us that humanity can be good at times?
Well, one thing that this brings to mind is that humanity can be humane, that there is humanity in every one of us. And it transcends religion, it transcends culture, it transcends wealth or poverty. What we have to remember is that this boy comes from a poor family of peasants, and the whole of Morocco and the whole of the world were behind them. They brought support. So many people from the Muslim world have offered help, financial help, offered support, sympathy. I think, in my mind, this is a good impression that it leaves, is that humanity is humane.
Alhamdulillah, that is really, the beautiful point that we can take from this entire story, that the connectivity, the humanity that was experienced. How do we avoid such things, or is something like this just a freak accident that may occur from time to time?
Well, the good thing about this is that many countries in the North Africa and in Middle East, and I guess in the world, will make sure that all the wells that exist and that have been abandoned will be screened. I just was reading that in Algeria, the authorities are going around and checking all the wells and asking the people who own wells to build walls on these wells and to build kind of doors or ways to close these wells. And the same thing in Saudi Arabia. Thousands of wells have been closed. So I think this is a lesson to all of us, that we have to be careful, especially knowing that children go around and play around, and they don't know the dangers of such places. So I think governments have to take into consideration this lesson.
Yes, certainly. Dr. Mohamed, we appreciate your time on Radio Islam and you taking us through the entire process and explaining what happened. Jazakumullah khair for sharing the detail.
You're most welcome, my brother.